Good evening, dear listeners, and welcome to the Friday edition of the Lall Show. It is Friday, the 8th of April, and the time is 7:22 p.m. You're joining us on 99.1 and 99.5 FM. So, Mr. Lall, it looks like we're a little bit light in the studio today. I think Joshua, I think Mr. Daggers, and I think Mr. Bernard have abandoned us. Well, what happened? What did you do to these people, huh? Anyway, without any further ado, we'll jump straight into the Lall Show tonight. I will hand you over to our esteemed host, Mr. Lall.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Ray and Bernard and Harris and Joshua and Timothy.
I'm here.
No. Ray.
Oh, it's
Bernard
a drink.
And Joshua.
Okay.
Went out. It's Friday. They said they're not going to wait on me after.
Why do they think we don't want to drink?
Well, they know I can't take a drink.
I'm offended.
Anyway, we have Kevin Smith who's with us.
All right. We'll work with Kevin.
Well, namaste to all you wonderful people.
Namaste.
And let's get going. Ms. Harris?
Yes, sir.
This word renegotiation.
Oh, don't say that.
Yes, renegotiation is fast becoming a forbidden word in the mouths of our leaders.
It seems so.
I was just told that the PNCR on the Facebook page, they're talking about the word renegotiation.
Wow.
And one, two social commentators are commenting on the word renegotiation.
Wow.
You know. So I'll be dealing with that issue tonight. Since the ExxonMobil contract was made public, the entire universe has been critical of it. One reputable international body even said that Guyana left $55 billion American dollars at the table while negotiating this contract that they handed Guyana.
Wow.
It doesn't have a single soul, not only in the oil sector or in the oil business, that has said that Guyana and its people were not taken for a ride. Not one of them. Yes. Not one person said we were not taken advantage of. Guyana's oil contract with ExxonMobil is the talk of the world today. Just the other day, when the president was in Dubai, the moderator told him that mistakes were made when signing that contract using the term quarterback, meaning after the Sunday game, Monday morning, you just sit around the table to look back at how you could have done better in the game to win it, especially if you lose. And the moderator did say, meaning after the signing of our oil contract. Yeah. Sit down and look back at what you sign on to. That's what the quarterback means. Our president apparently didn't understand the man's question. He did say that they have an agreement in which they have to work with, signed by the coalition government. See how these people are bent on leaving you penniless with this $1 trillion oil wealth we have, Ms. Harris?
Yeah.
Only on February 4th this year, 2022 I'm talking about, the opposition through its shadow, Oil and Gas Minister David Patterson, offered his party's support in Parliament to the Ali administration for the renegotiation. Let me repeat. David Patterson offered his party support in Parliament for the renegotiation of the ExxonMobil contract. As a follow-up to that story, yesterday one of my reporters contacted the new opposition leader for an interview on the oil sector, Mr. Abri Campton Norton. That's the lead story in today's Kaieteur News under the headline, Norton backs calls for renegotiation of oil contract. Says Guyana in a better position to seek readjustment. Yes, that was the headline in today's Kaieteur News. I left pleased and I was delighted when I heard this new opposition leader ready to confront this lopsided contract his party, the coalition government at the time, signed on to. Like I said, I was extremely happy. I felt that the calls over the last 6 years over renegotiation of this contract are finally getting somewhere, Ms. Harris.
Yeah.
Tragedy struck before cock crow this morning when Aubrey Compton Norton dispatched a letter to the Kaieteur News contesting the story's headline. You hear me? He contesting the story's headline, not the story in itself, but the headline, Kevin.
Wow.
As I walked into the office this morning, I was confronted with the question, boss, what does renegotiation means? I said to the editor, Nigel Williams, my understanding of that word is when an agreement is unfair to one or more parties. Then we speak about the word renegotiation. That's what I said to him. Before I read what Compton Norton said to my reporter, Uncle and Auntie, please let me tell you what's inside the letter he sent this morning to the newspaper before cock crow, so you can get a full understanding of what these leaders doing to you and all of us with words. Yes, words. I always warn all of you people, since the beginning of this program, I have said umpteen times to listen to their words carefully, watch their lips, even if they're ugly, because they love to play with your ears and your eyes with their conniving and deceivingness. Yes, they love to do that. This new opposition leader said in his letter that while the content of the article is correct, Kevin, the man said while the content of the article is correct, the headline is both misleading and mischievous. You may want to hear exactly what he said in the letter. So please allow me to read it so you can hear for yourself. You know, I love to play and I love to read their exact, play their words so you can hear it for yourself. Now read their words so you can listen for it your own self. He said, "Dear editor, it is with deep sense of concern that I write to remonstrate, object against your misleading headline in your Friday, April 8, 2022 edition of the Kaieteur News, which stated, Norton backs calls for renegotiation of oil contract. Nowhere in the interview did I say that. What I did say was that the law provides for action to be taken to ensure that the people of Guyana benefit from our resources and that the contract provides for changes
to be made in keeping with Article 31(2) of the agreement, and that the PNCR will do everything within the confines of the law to ensure that our people get increased benefits from the oil and gas sector. While the content of the article is correct, the headline is both misleading and mischievous. I am therefore requesting a correction on the front page. Kevin, you hear it? I am therefore requesting a correction on the front page, similar to that of the misleading headline. With kind regards, Aubrey C. Norton, leader of the People's National Congress Reform, April 8, 2022. There it goes. That was his letter. Aubrey Norton agreeing with the content of the article, but still saying that he wants an immediate front page correction to the misleading and mischievous headline. Norton backs call for renegotiation of oil contract. Uncle and Auntie, before we touch what he told the reporter that he agreed to, let's deal with one sentence in his letter. He said that the law provides for action to be taken to ensure that the people of Guyana benefit from our resources, and that the contract provides for changes to be made in keeping with Article 31(2) of the agreement, and that the PNCR will do everything within the confines of the law to ensure that our people get increased benefits from the oil and gas sector. Let's deal with that, Uncle. Yes, only one for now. What I mean, Miss Harris? You people will get increased benefits from the oil and gas sector. How? Norton will close his mouth, hands and foot? Or Norton will sit down around a table and use that same Article 31 that he talked about to renegotiate, so that he can give the people the increased benefits he talked about? Huh? That same Article 31(2) that he talked about says, this agreement shall not be amended or modified in any respect except by written agreement entered into by all parties, which shall state the date upon which the amendment or modification shall become effective. That's what 32(2), Article 31(2) says. Here's some of what he told the reporter from the story in the Kaieteur News. Hear me keenly, Miss Harris. Norton told the Kaieteur News during an exclusive interview that there is no longer uncertainty associated with Guyana's oil wealth. He said that among other reasons is enough for considerations relating to the adjustment of the PSA. The soon-to-be sworn-in opposition leader explained that when Guyana drew up its first oil-related contract, there were a lot of high risks associated with the initial projects. He said that as he understand it, the tendency of negotiations at the time was to cater for those high risks because of the uncertainty that surround the presence and value of the resource. His words. Now that the evidence is there, again, his words, that we have the oil resources, I believe it is a new context and we must engage ExxonMobil, noting the new context. Norton highlighted. He said that even now, in the very contract that binds the government and its oil partners, there is an article that speaks to the parties engaging each other where matters of changes and modifications are concerned. Uncle and Auntie, all those are his words, you know. Under the PSA's miscellaneous section, let me repeat again, Article 31(2) says, and I'm going to read it back again, this agreement shall not be amended or modified in any respect except by written agreement entered into by all parties, which shall state the date upon which the amendment or modification shall become effective. Norton believes that the article leaves space for the government to re-engage its foreign partners and state Guyana's case within the new scheme of things. He said that by being antagonistic, yes, being hostile towards the partners would not be beneficial. But I believe if you prepare your well-articulated case and you mobilize support for it both nationally and internationally, then you will get much more benefits for the people of Guyana. You hear him, Ms. Harris?
Crazy words. Beautiful.
The man said, but I believe if you prepare your well-articulated case and you mobilize support for it both nationally and internationally, then you will get much more benefits for the people of Guyana. Mr. Norton continued that the oil offshore Guyana is the people's national patrimony. Here he said, the oil offshore Guyana is the people's national patrimony. He said that Guyana has accepted a foreign company with the capacity to explore and produce the oil, and they have done so. It is only the right of Guyanese to expect from its leaders to ensure the best for its people. As a party, Norton said, once in government, they will pursue. You hear that? Once in government, the man said, they will pursue the issue of ensuring the people of Guyana benefits. He said that renegotiation is only one avenue in seeking betterment for citizens.
Wow.
Because in our current position, even with the little that is being earned, it is not focused on the development of citizens, particularly in developing their capacity. Mr. Norton said that he is focused on getting the best out of Guyana's oil riches, and that should be the same priority for the government. You hear that, girl?
Wow.
He is focused on getting the best out of Guyana's oil riches, and that should be the same priority for the government. His words, man. Let's deal with some of the words Norton used during his interview now, Uncle, that he didn't contest in his letter. And you have to tell me if this is not renegotiation, no matter what other different words he tried to use. He said, renegotiation is only one avenue in seeking betterment for the citizens. The mere fact, Ms. Harris, the mere fact, Guyana, that he said renegotiation is only one avenue in seeking betterment for the citizens. The man is admitting that renegotiation is an avenue to bring about a change. Not true, man? Huh? If I tell my editor that crime on the front page is not the only thing that will sell newspapers, but politics also, what am I admitting to him? Not that crime sells newspapers?
Yep.
Huh? Renegotiation is not the only way to get something. What does that say, man? Renegotiation gives you something or brings about a change. That's what it means. But this is the way these leaders play with your mind, your ears and your eyes with words, especially if and when they get a call from ExxonMobil 4 o'clock in the morning before cock crew. You know that, right?
Exactly.
What else did he say? He talked about adjustment of the PSA, the oil contract, uncle and auntie. What that means, if you adjust something, let me ask this man, if you adjust something, did it remain the same way? Ms. Harris?
No, of course not.
Or did something about it change? If you adjust something, did it remain the same way? Or did something change about it? Huh?
Of course.
Something got to change about it. If Norton own party adjusts their leadership, what does that mean? Granger still sit down like a lame duck? No. Are we dealing with a new man? Yes. Once they adjust the party, you get a new man. That's how Norton sits there now. Adjustment of the oil contract. Man, you adjust your bank account. What it means? Huh? It means the same thing?
No.
Exactly. You adjust your relationship with your man or your woman. Is it business as usual, man? You adjust your wardrobe. Mr. Norton now wearing suits. He used to wear short, outy pants. Isn't that adjustment? Isn't that change? Huh? So what's the difference, Ms. Harris, between adjustment, change, or renegotiation? Both of them bring about the same outcome or value. And that is change, as you rightly said, for the people of the country. Change. Change, adjustment, and renegotiation is the same thing. It brings about, yes, more value for the people. So I don't understand why you want a correction to the word renegotiation and accuse the newspaper of misleading and being mischievous. Come on, Norton. Come on. Watch these people, uncle. Watch these people, auntie. Don't keep your eyes off of them with what they say and what they do. Some of these leaders are willing to sell out your unborn children to the wolves with their words of fanciful, yes, flowery language I'm talking about. You know, you heard Ashley sing many times, and we would have heard the Vice President Bara Jagdeo umpteen times. And now President Ali. How good they are at that. And it seems like your opposition leader, why ain't even hold the Bible yet for swearing? Don't start dancing and prancing with words just like them. Like he want to join the crowd too. Mr. Compton Norton, uncle and auntie, went on to say that now that the evidence is there, that we have the oil resources, Aubrey Norton, believe it is a new context and we must engage ExxonMobil, noting the new context.
Wow.
Wow, you're right to say wow. Imagine Glenn Lall, who never went to a university, have to dissect and explain what our opposition leader saying. Yeah, sometimes your president, vice president also saying, including Ashley Singh. So what he really mean here, when he said the evidence of oil resources here, and he believe it is a new context, we must engage ExxonMobil. What really this man mean there, man? Huh? This thing is so simple, uncle and auntie. The man is saying, we have to sit down and look back at the agreement we have now that we find oil in abundance. That's basically what he means. There is no other explanation other than that. We have the evidence of the oil we find. And now we are demanding more from what was offered to us. Isn't that a call to renegotiation, Ms. Harris? Huh?
Yep.
Come on, Compton. What are you trying to achieve here? This nation is that stupid to buy this crap trying to wiggle out of? No, man. Stand up and be a man. Stand up and be a leader. The leader that you were elected to be. Don't dance tiny whiny on a chutney song, man. Don't do that. It ain't gonna work. Or you don't sell out yourself to the oil gangsters too. Just asking. I'm just asking. I'm just querying. Because I can't see. You said something yesterday, and before cock crow this morning, you agree with the entire content of the article. But just that word, renegotiation, you say we mischievous and misleading. No. You know, Ms. Harris, I want to believe somebody call you. Yes. I want to believe somebody call him and give him a good abusing. Yes. That made him rush to put out that statement.
Yep.
Yes, man. Before cock crow this morning.
People had to upsee good.
Yes. Exactly. The oil people had to tell him, never again. The oil people had to tell him, should I stop? The oil people had to tell him, never again. You see that word, renegotiate. ExxonMobil doesn't want to hear that word at all.
No.
When a word renegotiate or renegotiation is being talked about, it's like you slaughter some people, you slaughter somebody for ExxonMobil high up. They don't want to hear the word at all. You understand? Mm-hmm. Because they don't mean to change that new contract they give to Guyana.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But that word will be on every Guyanese lips, Mr. Norton, until they die. And you, Mr. Compton Norton, will have to face them. Yes, they will be up in your face every day with it. I will be around And I plan to stamp it on my forehead. I plan to stamp renegotiation is a must with the ExxonMobil contract. And I will come up in your face with it. Aubrey Compton Norton is so brilliant, uncle, that he even quoted the section of the oil contract that speaks of renegotiation and still want a retraction on the front page that he didn't use the word renegotiation of contract. How you like that, Mr. Joshua? You arrive in the studio. Yes, you don't take a drink. Miss Harris,
Yeah.
Mr. Norton even went so far as to talk about bringing a well-articulated case, mobilize support for it, both nationally and internationally.
Wow.
Then you will get much more benefits for the people of Guyana. How are you achieving that? If you don't renegotiate this contract, Mr. Compton Norton, may I ask? You should come out with another letter and explain that to the Guyanese people who you say you want better for. That's what you should come out and say. You calling for more from the oil companies, but afraid to use the word renegotiation, man? Huh? That's how you want to be a leader? What is the big problem with this word, renegotiation, that is driving so much fear in your head, man? Huh? This is not a jumbie word for anybody to be afraid of. It's become an everyday word being muttered on the lips of every Guyanese, down to the smallest child going to school. Let me ask this. If we can settle for the word change rather than renegotiation, because the two mean the same thing, change, renegotiate, adjust, any difference with them? Ms. Harris?
Nope.
Every single day, uncle, for the last year, the Kaieteur News on its front page has been a thorn in ExxonMobil behind and government's spine, twisting and turning in their backs on this lopsided contract. When one speaks about more benefits, you can only talk about changing something that you already have in place, meaning an agreement or a contract, Mr. Norton. And what is change? Renegotiate. What is renegotiate? Change. Change, renegotiate, renegotiate, change. Readjust is to revise something that you have in place to bring about more or less if you want. To give more or to get more. That can only be done through renegotiation, Mr. Compton Norton. President Ali lose a lot of weight, my friend. I think he's too stressed. Vice President Jagdev also lose a lot of weight and look older than his age. Is pressure busting the pipes right now from the people of this country with their wealth, especially their oil wealth. All over Guyana is only the oil contract you're hearing about, Mr. Compton Norton. Don't put yourself to be stressed like the president and the vice president, cause you might not look the way them looking. You want to look better than me, Glenn Lall. So stop dancing with words and words like that to this nation. You've been around politics and you've been following the politics for too long. Misleading and deceiving this nation is not the right way to go. Turn a page and start fresh. Be a real man. Be the real leader. And you're going to look better than Glenn Lall.
Definitely.
You know, Bernard, I thought you'd desert me tonight too. Where's Ray? Doggers. You desert me? Tell him no, he can't do me that. I love him. You know, Bernard, every single day on the front page of the Kaieteur News, Aubrey Norton supporters, Bharat Jagdev and Irfan Ali supporters are on the front page of the Kaieteur News with a jersey, with a placard, with some piece of paper in their hand, holding up, wearing and showing off. Renegotiation of that contract is a must. Change all foreign contracts. Yes. Every single day, it has become like a mantra in our society, man. Everywhere I go, people ask me about it. Glenn Lall, we are 100% behind you.
It's a Guyanese thing, man.
And here this man, our leader, spoke to the reporter yesterday, in which we carried a story today. He agreed with the entire story, but the headline, he wants us to correct on the front page tomorrow. That he didn't use the word renegotiation.
I'm not surprised.
Huh? He agreed, readjust, or adjust, right? Change. Come on, man.
No one is too decent to work.
Renegotiate is the same meaning, Mr. Compton. Another story I want to end with tonight, because you guys know it's a half-hour program only. Yes. Is also in today's Kaieteur News. The U.S. government has been taxing every barrel of oil, crude oil. Yes. They're taxing every barrel for oil spills and putting it in a trust fund, a special bank account. My gosh, when I heard that, I had to get my acts together, because I was like, wow. In the event of an oil spill, uncle, yes, the money that has been placed in the trust fund can be used right away to begin cleanup. Yes, that's what they say. They're not waiting for the oil companies or insurance money or any court judgments. That has taken too long. Yes. They're making sure that the oil company put money just for oil spill so that it can be used right away. Uncle, the bank account is totally controlled by the United States government. Why Guyana can't do the same? We have our Vice President and our President Ali, and now we have the new opposition leader, Compton Norton. Yes. They can't be that deaf and blind at the same time. No. I only hope they will answer this. Why Guyana doesn't do the same? Auntie, America is so rich that they are not only depending on full cover insurance, they are going the extra mile to ensure that money is there in the event of an oil spill to start cleaning up before the insurance company even open their books or reach the bank to pay. Where is Guyana today? What do we have in place? Nothing. Nothing. Tomorrow we are carrying another story similar to that one. Guess what, uncle? China is also doing the exact thing what America did. They are taxing every barrel of oil that comes up from them country, from their territory, and put in a special fund to deal with an emergency oil spill. Here how far both of them went. Bernard? Both China and America, Miss Harris, they are even taxing every barrel of oil that is going to their country just in case of an explosion of the ship. How do you like that one? They're not only taxing the oil that's coming up by the barrel in their country, you know. Anything that is being imported into their country is being taxed. My gosh. Where is our leaders? Can somebody help me? Huh? One of them saying we should correct that he never used the word renegotiation. Like I said, Miss Harris, renegotiation is a forbidden word. I learned the word forbidden in the Bible. Is who did do it? Adam was forbidden or Eve was forbidden? Wow.
Somebody was forbidden.
Nothing. Every single day in the newspapers. Yes. And on these programs. Yes. We have been exposing, highlighting, emphasizing the shortfalls, the lack of protection and safeguards from these oil companies in this oil business. Where are we today, Guyana? Huh? We don't have full cover insurance. Jagdeo threw that for them little children at EPA to deliberately cuss and embarrass them when an oil spill happened. Just like what he did to the people when he accused them of not auditing the 10 billion US dollar in Liza 1 and 2. He said he's disappointed. Auntie, America has been pumping oil over 100 years now, and they are taking all the precautions to safeguard their country and their people. Who's safeguarding Guyana and its people? Not even Aubrey, Compton, Norton, now willing to talk about renegotiating the contract that does not have full cover insurance or talk about spill. They had a spill in Nigeria that completely destroyed the citizens' lives in a special area. They didn't even have anywhere to sleep or anything to eat, and their government wasn't doing anything for them, uncle and auntie. The oil company, Royal Dutch Shell, initially offered the community of 15,600 people 8,000 Guyana each. Man, you didn't hear what I said, man. The oil spill left 15,600 people with nowhere to sleep, nothing to eat. And you know what the oil company offered them? 8,000 Guyana each. That led to a non-profit organization out of England. When them hear the people cries, yes, and convince them to sign up court documents, the matter went before the court in the Netherlands. Yes, and it's the court in the Netherlands where the oil company belongs to. That judge or those judges ruled that the oil company pay the people them and pay them handsomely. Yes. Should something like that happen in Guyana and the people, I don't know, maybe Miss Harris, the Guyanese people will not get $8,000 from ExxonMobil. They will be billed $8 million each. Yes.
US dollars too.
And maybe US dollars too. Yeah. Because the vice president said he hoping to get ExxonMobil to acknowledge up to a $2 billion US insurance. Somebody should ask your vice president, Jagdeo, what acknowledge up to means. Because That could mean less than the 8,000. Yes, the 8,000 what the Nigerians was offered by Shell Oil Company. Yes, these are the kind of insults and advantage that oil companies do to non-whites of the world. Yes, third world countries with black, brown and purple people inside. Let me give you guys an example of how these oil companies operate. Guyana has one trust fund so far for the decommissioning of the oil wells. Yes. ExxonMobil is taking out money from the oil before sharing profits to us and putting it in a bank account in them name alone in America. How you like that, Barad? That money is to close off them well pipes, and then pick up them pipes and clean up the ocean floor when the oil is done. When I asked Rutledge, yes, the man who run in the Guyana, ExxonMobil, why the money is not in the hands of Guyana, he said we're keeping it safe.
Yeah.
He keeping money. What we supposed to got in we wardrobe or we bank account for clean up we house. How you like that?
Just give thief man money, we keep it safe for you.
Yes. Yes. Them taking out you money, uncle. Just so yet we don't know how much. We don't know how much. Because Jack, they're not telling us anything. Short-changing or shortening your oil profit, keeping it in them account, them bank book, reinvesting it right here in Guyana out there, earning a profit. And these clowns we have in Guyana still hoping to get an acknowledgement of insurance to protect Guyanese citizens. What else more y'all want to hear me say, man? Huh? I have nothing else to say tonight. And I am not even in a mood to tell you good night or have a nice weekend with these leaders y'all have.
Nothing good.
Trust me. I am done. I'm going to take your messages without not even saying good night. My half hour is done. Yes.
Right.
Let me hear the comments now, Miss Harris.
All right, for anybody wishing to join the discussion, that number is 226-7453 or 226-7454, or you can call us on 622-2222.
Or you can WhatsApp on 624-6456.
Indeed.
Yes, Miss Harris.
So the discussion
While
tonight-
we're waiting, you want to say something? Go ahead. Go ahead. Take it.
What do you want to hear, the discussion or my comments?
Whatever. Your comments, man. Go ahead.
My
Your
comments.
Yeah.
Well,
It's time I
Mr.
hear you
Norton.
people, man.
Definitely. I think Mr. Norton is backing away from this whole thing. He's come in, he's supposed to be the new leader for the PNCR,
Correct.
and he's already doing a disservice to the people that elected him to that position. It's clear from everything that you just said that the man was speaking about renegotiation. But I don't know why renegotiation has become such a politicized word. And that's something that these politicians do in Guyana. Whenever there's an issue to be confronted, they try to politicize the issue so as to distract from the actual issue. So instead of us having a discussion about renegotiation and how it's possible and what can come about from it, we're fighting about whether we should be using the word renegotiation. He used a bunch of different words. He said, what was it? Readjust.
Readjust.
He said modify, I think. He said re-engage. What do
Yes.
these words mean, Mr. Norton? The Guyanese people, the nearly 800,000 Guyanese people are not stupid.
Exactly.
We're not idiots.
Exactly.
Many of us understand language very well. We know
That's
you're
right.
talking about renegotiation. So why are you backing away from renegotiation? Why is it such a dirty word for us? The next thing is these people come into these, they assume these offices, and then it's like they completely forget who put them there. You know? the PNC or the APNU AFC, whatever you want to call them, they narrowly lost the elections, right? Despite it being contested or rigged or whatever, they lost by about 7,000 votes. So you mean to tell me then that 49% of Guyana must sit back and shut up and mustn't have a representative to ventilate their views then? That's what he's essentially saying, because
Exactly.
the people who put him there so that he can stand up and ventilate their views. Not for him to say something very clearly and articulately, and what's more, even to say the things that people want to hear. This is what the Guyanese people want to hear.
Exactly.
They want to hear that you are aware of this contract, you understand the articles of the contract that explicitly say it can be changed and modified. But you say all of that, and then the next morning, you come back and say, well, no, I didn't say that. We're not playing semantics, Mr. Norton. People understand language in this country very well.
That's right.
So mean what you say and say what you mean. That's my contribution at this time.
Lovely. Well said. Well said, Miss Harris. You know, driving yesterday morning, I heard a message in which President Ali is inviting all Guyana to the conference center to a day of fasting. Hear that?
Prayer and fasting.
Yes, to a day of fasting, praying, and staying together. I would like all of us to fast together, pray together, and stay together as one Guyana. Don't get me wrong. I am not against any of the three things our leader wants us to do, or what he said there. I would have been more happy, and I think all Guyana would have been more happy to hear him call on the nation to join him, and let's have a special day. Let's get together to discuss the renegotiation of all the foreign contracts in this country, Miss Harris. Huh? The same way he using the airwaves to call out on a nation to join him for fasting, praying, and being together, he should have used his voice the same way, and his office the same way, to look back at all the wrongs with all the contracts and fix them. He should go right where he lived, where he grew up in Lenora, and see the conditions in which his own people are living. With that, I say good night. Namaste and God bless. I have nothing else to say tonight, man. No. I promise not to say anything. Come on.
Right. Do you want to hear
Come
some
on.
of the
Where's the
comments?
telephone calls?
Glenn,
Come on.
what is our president calling fasting and praying for? What? What are we supposed to fast and pray for?
And stay together.
No, for what? What are you fasting and praying for?
Well, it's the time, it's the season of praying and fasting in Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam.
Well, I'll tell you
I
something.
agree, I accept with
Yeah,
that.
but I am telling you something. There's a thousands of our fellow brothers and sisters who are fasting, but they're not fasting because they want to fast.
Exactly.
They fast because they don't have the damn food to eat.
It's called poverty.
Alright, it's not
Correct.
poverty, right? It's not. They're not fasting because they want to fast. They fast because they have the damn food to eat. And in an oil-rich country with resources more than Kuwait and Dubai put together, it's a damn shame and disgrace. Right? You will tell me fasting and praying for what? Fast and pray for better leaders. That's what you fast and pray for. You think we're going to get better leaders? When are we going to get better leaders, man? Right? Anyway, the US government has vision and is prepared for the future. They are realistic and know that oil spills are a reality. The more wells you drill, the greater the risk of a catastrophic oil spill. Okay? Blowout is simply a numbers game. The more well you drill, right, the greater the chance of a well blowout. And our government just approved 41 to 69 new wells on the Yellowtail. And now ExxonMobil are asking for approval for Waru. I am not surprised at Albin Norton. He's just like other leaders of Guyana. He's following the footsteps of African leaders like Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, Chad, Sudan, wherever. He is just a sucker piece of... He's been paid and bought and paid for by the oil companies. That's what they do around the world. They buy your politicians, Right? They buy their dignity, they have no credibility.
Well, you don't want to accuse the man of being bought and being
I understand
paid.
it, but all
But the
African
way-
leaders,
the way-
if you sell it your country,
The way they're behaving, the language that comes out their mouth, right? Who's supposed to be defending, protecting and safeguard their citizens, their constituency, you know? It sure leads to that what you're saying.
yeah, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. It looks like they are being bought and paid for by the oil companies. I can't say for sure because I'm not there.
All right.
But
Good
like
for
the
that.
African leaders, the African leaders are sellouts. They sell out their people for what? For you to sell out your people, sell out your country, right? You're not a patriot, man. Patriots do not sell out their country.
You know, having said that, Bernard, one of the most important lessons in life that you should know is to remember to have an attitude of gratitude, of humility. Understand where the gift comes from. It's not mine. It's not yours. It has been given to us or loaned to us by the grace of Almighty God. You know, we should take note of that. We should use what we have, you know, to help others, help them to have a life, a good life.
Glenn, I have a question for our leaders, man. All our leaders are enjoying a good life from the time of independence and now they are enjoying a good life. When
Best
is the
life.
Guyanese people gonna have a good life? When? They are getting millions of dollars a month and that doesn't make them lazy. Giving Guyanese $100 or $200 a month, that's gonna make them lazy. You know, this thing just drives me nuts when I hear people say you cannot give money to the people of Guyana
Free
because they're gonna
money.
make them lazy. You can't give money to them. It's not giving money, it's giving people their share of their national patrimony.
Exactly.
If Kuwait does it, and the people are not lazy, if the state of Alaska gives the rest of Alaska their share of oil money every month, and the Alaskans are not lazy, why are Guyanese people lazy? And the thing is, giving Guyanese $100 or $200 a month is gonna make them lazy. We are already paying our politicians $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month, and are they lazy? Why are they insulting us so much, man? This thing just drives me nuts.
Bernard, you driving me a little crazy here too. when you say give Guyanese people $100 and $200 US
Exactly,
dollars.
sir.
No, sir.
I
No.
require much more than that.
No. The Guyanese people deserve, every household deserve more than $1 million a month in their account.
I understand.
Hold 1 second, let me take this call. Hello, sir. Good evening.
Hi, namaste.
Namaste.
To you and the staff at Kaieteur.
Good evening.
You know, there is a old saying in Guyana. There's a old saying in Guyana. Old people say, "Not take shame face and shake cockaway hand." You know. But yes, not take shame face and shake cockaway hand. What I mean that if you know one man hand a cockaway, you shame, you go shake your hand and so our leaders shame for do the right thing. But they're not shame for do the wrong things. You know, they're shame for do the right thing like renegotiation, renew, and do the right thing for the Guyanese people. But they're not shame for indulging the wrong and mischief for some immoral and illegal things. You know, I am surprised at the leader of the opposition realizing he is the man that being put there by the opposition, which is almost 50%. And if he is doing this to the Guyanese people, it's a clear cut that in this country we don't have a government who can represent the people nor an opposition.
Exactly.
So that is a real 100% realization for the Guyanese people that there is no representation.
When you have 1 second, when your opposition leader can shy away, run away from that word renegotiation knowing how the people of this country, the level to which the people of this country is living, where poverty is concerned, knowing this contract we have is the worst on earth. I have challenged anybody on earth, even ExxonMobil I challenge, to list a country that has one contract that resembles Guyana. And nobody can answer me. And you have a leader who know all of this, who was just elected. The man hasn't been he hasn't sworn in as yet. He's already ducking and hiding and baba weaving in this land. It speaks volume of where we are as a people, as Guyanese. Huh? How much more the people of this country will sit back and take, my brother?
Exactly. Because if you have a government that is being tied up or hand tied or mouth tied, I don't know which part tied for them, you mean you have a opposition that is being tied up to? Man, well, the Guyanese people should open their eye, mouth and everywhere else and learn what is happening here.
Well, his mouth and tie. His tongue look like he tangle. Because he's saying one thing and then refuting it. Because all the words he used and the whole thrust of what I read there, what he said in the article, speaks of renegotiation. That's the only way the only way you can get more, the only way you can get something that will benefit the people of this country through that oil contract is to renegotiate the contract. Nothing else you can do. So why is he running away from that word?
Yes.
You know, I remember Joseph Harmon, the then opposition leader, came in here one day. Came in one day and tell us, give me the, a matter of fact, I forced him to wear the jersey for that renegotiate the oil contract 50% needed. He said he would have come on the radio the next week. I haven't heard back from him or even see him back. Right? But he is also another one that, hey, they're willing to show off one day and then you disappear the other day. Well, this is exactly what the new leader is doing. He opens his mouth, speak of benefits more, and then before cock crow the next morning, you're saying, I didn't use that word. So what do you mean?
I tell you. You know, Brother Glenn, 2 weeks ago there was a big distraction in Georgetown about the CPL and Cricket Carnival 2022. Well, we even had a bigger one today. You know, the whole Guyana is become so spiritual and so religious. Man, like we never time with island material thing now. We all will go to heaven because they say when you go to heaven, you have to dispatch all material things. You know, so we all become spiritual. A day of fasting and prayer, man. But I tell you something, them people that try to bring heaven are not in Guyana, you know. But I was hoping that the pandits, the priests, and the imam who was there should have tell the president if he don't have the mouth to say, they should have told him that. So you know what? Guyana need more than prayer and fasting. It need some renegotiation and renewal of the oil contract and put all our resources in place that this country is being sold out for years. You know? We need, because man not live on bread alone for truth. They live on the word of God. But what they're doing to these people is distracting them from what is happening and tell them about a day of prayer or fasting. You know? Them all become prophets and gods and angels.
Exactly.
Man, the way that his word, my friend, the way that his word this message, when I listen it on the radio, join President Ali at the conference center at 2:30 or 3 p.m. today. A matter of fact, I sent a reporter, and the reporter didn't get back to me just to find out how many Guyanese turn up there. Maybe his cabinet alone turn up. Because I don't think people want to join him in prayers. People want to join him where they know they'll be getting money in their pocket to feed their children.
Food, man. Food.
Of course. There was no other spiritual leader for this century more than Mahatma Gandhi. And Mahatma Gandhi said that you can't tell a man about God and spirituality if that man is hungry.
Exactly.
If a man has a hungry stomach, what man will listen to God and spirituality?
Yes. Of what use?
You know,
Of what
Yes.
use? He's hungry.
you're starved.
Yeah.
You're starved when you're hungry. You got to tell him about God.
Exactly. My friend, you go to school hungry. If you're hungry, you can't learn.
Man.
I remember going to school.
They're carrying.
I remember going to school hungry. You can't learn anything because you're dizzy.
Yeah.
I grew up like that. So I understand.
I tell you
And
something.
President Ali grew up poor. Vice President Jagdeo grew up poor. Abhi Norton grew up poor. Joseph Harmon all them grew up poor. Why these chaps turn so overnight, man?
They get rich and switch.
Very quickly, Guyana is heaven. It's heaven for ExxonMobil's shareholders, but it's hell for Guyanese people. Guyanese citizens is hell. Guyana is hell for Guyanese citizens. It's heaven for ExxonMobil's
you
and
know-
his
and
supporters, shareholders.
I was listening to a part of the presentation about forgiveness. You know, of forgiveness and all this thing.
the audacity for me.
I hope they are willing to forgive the PNC for some wrong things they did, because every occasion they went in Dubai, Texas, everywhere, they got to remind the world about the before 1992. Guyana was hell.
I know.
You
Well,
know?
here. As they talk about forgiveness, I have said it umpteen times that I am willing to forgive every one of them about the wrongs they would have done with the oil companies and all these contracts. And I believe that every Guyanese at this
Yes.
present moment is going to sit back and forgive them for everything they would have done. Right? And let's start the ball all over again. Let's start from
Yes.
fresh. Let's renegotiate the contract. Forget about whatever they did. You know? So why aren't they doing it?
But I don't know. I am on the same page too. I think every Guyanese. But you know, these people are so engrossed in this kind of act, like they think, I don't know if they can't get out of it or just love to do it or whatever. I don't know. Instead of doing what they did make mistake in December to go to the Isle money without consulting people. Now they are going ahead with the food project. Every act of them is more evil and more dangerous to the Guyanese people.
Exactly.
You know.
The love of money is the root
So
of all evil.
the last thing I will say, and it might pass a little joke. A friend told me, say, you know what? If a man is certain that he's going to hell, he's trying to get a position in hell, because I was made to understand the more evil you do, you can become a president in hell, a prime minister, a vice president. So maybe our leaders, they might try to accumulate
We have a couple
enough
warlords of hell in
sins
this
so they can
country
get
then.
position in hell. You know? And I think
Satan left and
that
right hand
position
people live right
will be
here.
for Guyanese leader. I think they will outnumber any other country in the world for that.
Definitely.
Thank you, my friend. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
God
you.
bless.
Thank you. God bless. Have a good night.
I want to read a few words from Jerry Jailal and yesterday, Kaieteur, regarding this prayer and fasting. He writes, and I quote, "During this prayer and fasting, we must pray for our weak, battered opposition to be strong, so the government can be kept accountable. We must pray that God convict both the PNC and the PPP about their treacherous betrayal of the nation in signing and defending the worst oil contract in the world that robs our nation of much needed resources. We must pray for all church leadership in all religions whom have lost their voice and have failed to be the moral conscience of the nation. We must pray for our scary cat lawyers whom we supported at the UWI and Council of Legal Education, who now lack moral courage to support the fight for a renegotiated oil contract. We must pray for those in the business sector who care about their own selfish financial interests and profits, but pay low wages to poor workers. Let's pray for the nation's most vulnerable population, rice and other farmers, fishermen, housewives, pensioners, sugar workers, small businesses, market vendors, retail salespeople, civil servants, youths, students, single parents, nurses, policemen, security guard, those depending on public assistance and other risk population. And I close. Let's pray that we can be one Guyana where both the PNC and the PPP confess their sins and join together to fight a common enemy that wants to bully us. May God help Guyana.
Thank you for reading that, Tony. But I think Mr. Jailal will have to rethink and reword his statement there, because he said, let's pray, let's pray for the opposition to stand up against the government. With what Compton Norton said today, how can you pray for him?
Not in this lifetime. Not in this lifetime.
Maybe he's talking about another
Next lifetime, not in this lifetime.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because you can't. How can you pray for an opposition to stand up for the people of this country against this government when you hear Abby Norton saying that he didn't use a word renegotiation on one of the worst contracts?
Hindu. Not one of the.
And he gave us the article that speaks of renegotiation in his letter and also in the reporter.
Glenn, I have one question, man.
By the way, I did look up the definition of renegotiation and the word Mr. Norton used, adjustment, and when you look at it, they both have the similar
It's a synonym,
meaning.
yes.
Exactly, man.
Adjustment is a synonym for renegotiation.
Readjustment, adjustment, change.
Modify.
I have one question, man. Does the people of Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, Sudan, Chad, don't they pray? You think Guyanese alone pray? They have been praying for 50 years. Where has it gotten them, bro? Prayer does not solve anything. The people have to get on the street and do what is right. You have to demand changes.
Exactly. You have
Prayer does not do any damn thing.
Have a Nigerian thing to play.
50 years. You listen to the pastor, you listen to what the guy says. Prayer does nothing. You have to get on the damn street.
I respectfully disagree. They haven't. The people in Nigeria and those countries haven't just been praying for 50 years. They've been praying for about 500 years. Ever since the colonizers went to Africa and told them to get on their knees and pray with this book. And when they got up from their knees and opened their eyes, the only thing that the Africans had left was the book, was the Bible, was their religion. The people took everything from them. This is why I'm very touched when it comes to this talk about prayer and get down and pray to our God and you will be saved and redemption and all this nonsense. They're trying to pacify people by using people's religion, by using people's faith, that there is a divine being that is looking out for us, or however you wish to frame the whole idea of God or whatever. But prayer without works and prayer without faith is dead. Nobody is saying don't pray and ask for help. You know, consult whichever higher beings or spiritual guides you have and ask for help. But that's a way of pacifying people. And if people don't realize that they actually have to take actions to achieve whatever objective they want, then that's another trick. That's another con.
Exactly.
That's why they're pushing this, prayer and fast, prayer and fast. No. Get out there and do your job. Get out there and do the job that the people elected you to do, which is to protect and to serve them and to look out for their best interests. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Nobody cares about prayer.
Prayer is the biggest con in the world.
Perfectly said, Mr. Harris. Prayer without action, you get nowhere.
Exactly.
Could you play that tape, let Guyana listen? To all of you. I love you guys. Good night.